What's up, guys? We're gonna Bro Beats. Today I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make some authentic samples from scratch. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned post on, do so, because it does help it a lot. Just hop right into it. So I'm just go through all the little things. All right, so BPM, for some reason, just halftime, and halftime I would say is when you hit about below 100 BPM. All right, so I just got 56, right? That's not that important, but just something to note. Now, the swing, this is important, especially if you want to add drums. 20% I think is the sweet spot. You could go up to 40, but you want this to be very subtle, and it'll shine later. But yeah, swing 20%, and I'm gonna just grab a scale. Now grab a scale that you really like, because this is gonna be very important. So you already know I'm going my F sharp minor, okay? And that's it. And I'm gonna walk through the sounds as we go through them and explain how you should use them and everything. So let's get started with our bass. Okay, so let's start with the bass. Now I'm just play it for you real quick, so you can just hear it soloed. So keep in mind, we are trying to mimic actual musicians playing these instruments. All right, not producers, musicians playing these. Okay, so it's gonna be difficult to mimic this. So I'm gonna give you guys tips and tricks that you can use to kind of at least get close to it, or make it sound believable. So this is marked active because this is going to be kind of the backbone. It should be the most consistent out of all these sounds. And you'll see what I mean later when we add other stuff. So let's actually go in here. Okay, so what we could do, we could obviously, let's create a chord, let's pull this up, or we could go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and get our, no, we're not doing none of that. That's too difficult. Okay, that's too hard. So what we're gonna do is use one note. We're using our root. Simple as that. So what method we're going to use is we're going to build into our note or build down into our note. That's the easiest way you could go about this. So we're going to copy this over. All right. Pull this up an octave, and let's actually stretch these out a bit. Right. So now what we can do is fill everything in between. Now, the reason this works is because this is our root, and our root is compatible with every note on this scale, right? So we have freedom to put whatever chords we want. We have freedom to put whatever notes we want. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So we can maybe just go down 1, and you could do whatever you want here. I'm just kind of just trying to show y'all little tricks and stuff. And what we could do is create a chord so we can find notes to use. So skip that one, and this is our minor, okay? So we could just use this top note because this is just closer. Now, one thing I want you to note is everything in between we can use too, okay? So let's do something like this, and let's see what that sounds like. But I'm hearing this go up in my head, so I'm gonna maybe use this. And you can offset stuff too to see. And let's actually use the thirds now. Let's use the thirds and switch it up. All right, so now let's see. And I'm hearing some other notes. So let's go back to our chords, and the other notes that we can use this one or this one. So looking up here, let's pull this up and pull this over. And I'm just trying to show y'all how I'm getting to these notes, because I think that's important. We can use these two notes because if you do this, they go right back to the F sharp. Let's actually do something like this. Yeah, I like that a lot better. So now we have a template. We have these notes to use. So you know what I'm gonna do? Let's just make this super easy. Let's copy this over here. Let's copy this over here. And all we need to do is just switch the positions of the notes. Because we know they sound good, right? So why try to reinvent the wheel? Just redo the notes. So we could do something like this. And obviously the velocity and all this stuff will matter, but just trying to show y'all how to get here. Pull this down. And since we're going back down into our F, let's actually use this on this side. And I'm gonna go back to my 1/4. And let's see what this sounds like. And we can copy that over, and we're finished. All right, so this is the most difficult part of this video. I'm not even joking. All right, so let's move on to our other guitar. All right, so now we have our second guitar. Now I'll play it. Now the reason I have delay is so that we don't have to use or put as many notes down. All right, and that's why I have a lot of these labeled, because these are like the most important elements that you need to make it sound, I guess, authentic. Let's go in here, and what we can do real quick is we can go back here and we can kind of find notes, right? And just kind of remember these notes so you know where you could land. So I'm gonna use this C because it's the part of the first chord, right? So I'm gonna use that to start at least, and I'm gonna switch the, actually, this is actually perfect. All right. So maybe we can do like a little, we could do a little flam, something like that. Pull this up. All right, and then we could land back on our F somewhere here, just so it's not so it's just easier on us. And actually, let's let this play out. Maybe pull this C in. Let's change this grid up a little bit. We could offset it. It doesn't need to be on the grid completely. All right, so this is the perfect time. Let's pull this back down. Let's see what that sounds like. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the second part, and you want to use this like salt. You don't want to, you know, a lot of people, they want to make the best sounding melody in the world, and they want to do all this, right? Like they want to do all that, okay? But you achieve that type of sound by using all of your instruments, okay? Because you want to fill things in. You don't want to just let one instrument do all the work all the time. So let's move on to this part, and we can actually just copy this over, and let's just delete this. And I'm just trying to make this quick now because I'm sure y'all probably get it by now. So all I want to do is add a little something in here, okay? So let me see. Let me see. So I'm hearing like a little twinkle. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it's like something like this. And how I'm getting to this note is you pretty much just create a chord backwards, so you can see this is all in harmony, by the way. Okay. Now I want this to sound a little bit better, so I might fast forward this part, or if I get it right on the first try, I'll keep it in, but I want it to sound a little bit more convincing than this. So maybe maybe we can go a little smaller. Okay, so that is the closest I'm gonna get it. I'm tired of working on this part, but this is what it sounds like. I'm gonna just speed that part up because that was rough. All right, so, and I'm gonna probably still work on it later, but that's for this tutorial. That's good enough. And honestly, I think that's good. So let's move on to our other instruments, so we can work on our strings now. All right, so now we have our strings. Now this is just important as the bass. Like you probably want to use strings if you're trying to make this type of stuff. All right. Now this is just a VST that came to mind for me, but you can literally use any type. It could be like the worst sounding strings, but you can always edit it, post, and make it sound good. But this is what I use, the trill here. I just thought that was pretty cool sound. So let's go in here. And really, this is easy. You just find where you want to place it and just let it play for the rest of the bars. So I'm gonna just kind of listen. So I'm thinking right here. So really, we can put it, let's do a little lower. Make sure y'all can see this. I'm gonna just let this play out. And let me double it. Okay, I like that. All right, and it's as simple as that. So now what I want to do is actually do a little bit of programming. So let's go into control. I don't like how these just come in right away. So let's actually go to the channel volume, and here we can kind of mess around with the volume, and I'll show you what I mean real quick. All right, but I just want to, so if you hold right click, and you can see on the screen right now, you just kind of want to, I don't know, we could just kind of fade it in. Actually, what button? I forget what button you use for this. Yeah, this one. All right, so we use our paintbrush. You can kind of just bloop. Then maybe right in between, like the halfway point, we want it to be at its peak, and then we can start going back down. And then let's do it on this side. And I'm not gonna spend a lot of time doing this. You can kind of spend time and get it perfect, but I'm gonna just kind of get on with the video because I don't want this video to be like a million minutes long. So let's just, all right, let's see what that sounds like. It's looking a little ugly up here. Let me just. Okay, and I think that's good for this video. So let's move on to our bells. So yeah. All right, so this is the VST I'm using for this one, just in case y'all want to know what VSTs I'm using. So this is the sound, and I just added some delay up here and reverb. Now, as you can see, I add the key things that you need for these sounds. So just slight delay. All right, so let's go in here. And as a matter of fact, you know what? Let's not even think. Okay, let's do the same method here. So let's take our F, and maybe we could, let's take this A. All right, and let's just copy this. And let's do Shift D. And then now we have kind of a guide. So now we can do like the bass and just fill in between. So I'm actually offset this. I don't want this starting right away. Again, this is a part of our little method here. All right. All right, so I'm gonna copy this over, and I'm gonna try to make this side a little bit more interesting. So I don't know, we can kind of, let's see, what could we do here? I'm gonna keep this, but I just want this part to kind of amp up a bit. I don't want it to be as dry. Just maybe take this B, pull that up, let's go down, pull this up. What else could we do? Maybe let me see. Okay, that sounds good by itself, so let's see. Okay, that's not bad. It's a little something here that I don't like, but I'll let it slide for now. That's the whole thing. That's the bells. Remember, all we did was pretty much just start from 2 notes, pretty much, the A and the F. Right? You could have used this combo if you wanted. I don't know, it spoke to me. Okay, so now let's do our winds. All right, so this is what I'm using for the flute, or you can pretty much substitute this part, okay, with brass. You can do a horn, you could do a regular flute, a recorder. I just heard this sound as I was looking for sounds, and I really liked it. So this is what this sounds like. All right. So with this one, you don't need to do much. I want to treat it like an accent. So basically you just want to throw it in there just once or twice and just let it kind of melt into everything else. So I don't know, I'm gonna just See how this sounds. And maybe let's. And honestly, I think that's good. I think that's pretty good. I didn't really expect it. I expect to use more, but that's fine. And sometimes you'll run into that. You might only place it once or twice. All right, so that was quick. All right, so yeah, that's that one. And let's move on to these. All right. Now this part is key. This is what people miss. All right. Now, if you think of a sample, it's just a chop from a song, right? And to get a song, you need instruments, maybe some vocals and drums. So you want to add all those elements in. So this is adding the drums. So this is what we have. And to get these sounds, you just go to packs. I'm sure every VST has like stock drums, but we go to legacy and real drum kits, and you can find these like real hi-hats. And you can use whatever you want. I just like these subtle ones because they're the least annoying. Okay, I just want something subtle. I don't want snares or whatever. So let's go in here, and we can just place our basic like little hats. And I kind of like mine low, like we have here. Maybe stretch these out a bit, and we can just place them like they're claps for now. Go all the way across. And then I'm gonna place one here, and then here is where we'll do our chop. Except we go to snap to grid, and we want to use a 1/3 step. If you want it to sound authentic, a 1/3 step is probably one of the best ones you can use. Just go in, and I'm gonna just painfully do it manually. I know I can just something like this. And then I'm gonna pull this up so you can see what I'm doing on this velocity. So what you want to do is you want it to be very subtle. But what you want to do is kind of tweak a little bit of them, because a human can't like do it linearly like this, like completely straight, right? It's gonna, some of them are gonna be a little higher, right? This one might be a little higher, it might be a little lower. All right, so you want it to be a little bit humanized. So let's pull this back down. And I even think this is still, let me see. All right, let's try this. I like that. Okay, so what we can do now is let's actually copy this and let's just offset it over here. All right, sounds pretty good. So that's how you do that. And we could take this other live hat and just kind of place it in wherever we feel. So I'm gonna just kind of get it over with and just maybe pull this out a little bit more. Okay, so I think that's good for the hi-hats. You get the point. So the next thing we're gonna do is add some Rhodes or like our chords to kind of make it sound a little bit more full. So now what we're gonna use is like a Rhodes or an electric piano, something that was a lot common during that time period. So I just chose this one. Something very subtle, not too like crazy or like in your face. So with this, as a matter of fact, let's go up here. We can choose from any like these notes that we've been using. So I think I'm gonna use this F, obviously, and we can roll back with this A because I remember we used this A, I think on the bell. Yeah, we used this on the bells. So I'm gonna just use that like little, matter of fact, let's just copy this. And this can be really easy because it's pretty much done. All we need to do is just adjust the bass, put this in, and we just create a chord all the way up. Let's go up an octave. Yeah, and I think that's good. And I'm gonna just create a chord here, take these bottom two, pull them up, and then pull this down, copy it over. All right. And that's just like a simple way. needs some adjusting, but I think this is good for now. So now we're gonna move on to the last part, which is adding some vocals. All right, so I went ahead and just loaded up some stuff just to save time, because this video seems like it'll be pretty long. So what I did is just search for some vocals, acoustic, and then I just went and just grabbed some stuff. So I'm gonna go back here. And this is the one that I want to use. And I have other ones, but they're two up front, but this one really stuck out to me, and I put it in F sharp, of course. And right, if you want really good sounding stuff, you probably want to make your own kits, because they have really like cool samples, but sometimes these kits can be a little too much. So let's go here, and I'm gonna just find that, and we could just literally just play this once, like on each part. Simple as that. All right, and that's just the vocal. It could be any vocal. That one just stood out to me. So what I'm gonna do with this bass is pull this down an octave, and now we are finished. And then next we'll just add some effects, and I'll just play it one time. All right, so now I'm gonna just show you some effects or some effect chains that you can use to kind of make this sound a little bit more authentic. All right, so this is the last step, and this is pretty much just fixing it up, adding effects. Now, I'm not gonna show you stock effects. I have videos for that. I'm gonna show you stuff that I actually use, okay? So first thing we need to do, we can mute this, and we need to actually pan, because back then, a lot of the sounds and stuff were panned hard right, hard left, to create space. I don't like that sound too much, so I'm gonna hold back, but I'm gonna just show you what I mean. I think that's good, and we'll just keep adding sounds. And I'm just kind of go left, right. We can offset these hats a bit, and I think that might be good. We could leave these roads. Okay, now I've added, I'm gonna show you these presets. So for the vocals, right, because they put effects on vocals, right? So I have this, and this is all custom presets. Yeah, so this is it. You can copy this if you want. I really don't care. And this is what it will sound like. I'll just play it without. Okay, I guess it wasn't gonna play again. All right, so now we have this. Now this is my custom little thing, and I'm gonna run through this. We have shiver box, okay, and I have this playing in the mid so that all these other frequencies will play normally. Which is, I'll show you the effect as we go. And this is my emulator preset here, okay. And then we have reels, okay. Now the baked preset is probably the best one in my opinion. And I'm gonna add these on as we go, and then I have a cut. Okay, so I'm gonna play them all together. I'm gonna just add these on. We add the reels. And then we add this little shaper box effect, and now we have our sample. And then what you could do from here is just go to pattern, render, and let it render. And then you can kind of chop it and stuff as you want. Now I know this video is pretty long, but I don't care about none of that. I'm just trying to show you all this stuff because YouTube is so weird. Like sometimes they want short videos, then they want long videos, and you never really know because it does affect your channel like severely. So now we have our sample, and this is a pretty short sample. Obviously you could structure it out, and then you could kind of like pull it down, you know. All right, whatever you want to do with it. But that's it for this video. Hope this is helpful. I will leave the timestamps and everything in the description. Let me know if you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.